So I want to take a look at my actual course to show you just parts of the communication, the teacher presence, how we do feedback in my online environment, as well as the structure. So this will be the first video here, and we'll look at those 4 parts. As far as communication is concerned, we have our Palx Mail here, which if we were to open up our Palx Mail, looks like this. And that's just a very basic email format. It's internal, so you can only email from Palx Mail to Palx Mail. It will not accept external emails. And so students could contact through that. We also have our what we call our Moodle Messenger, because Moodle is our learning management system. So here we can very easily go through our contacts. I could select students that are just in my advanced general science course or my life science course, that's 7th and 8th grade. I could go by homeroom and so forth. We could also look up recent conversations. If a student asked me a question, I said, that's a good question, I want to come back to it later, I could go back and find that. Or I could actually go through my class and send out a class-wide message. And I often use that feature. I try to respond to my Moodle messages very quickly, but not every morning, but maybe anywhere from 1 to 3 mornings in a week. I try to send out a general message to the class, either just checking in to see how everyone's doing, let them know that I'm still here, that I'm available for any questions, comments. And then other times I may get more specific and send a message just to individual students if I notice maybe their grades aren't up to par, or I see them slipping a little bit and I just want to give them a little nudge and let them know, hey, I'm still here. And that form of communication brings that teacher presence back, where some students may say, hey, I'm hidden behind a computer screen, my teacher doesn't recognize that I'm not working. You know, I'm checking these things, I see these things, and then I want to convey that message to the student and say, hey, you know, I see this going on, do you need help? Let's talk about it. So I think through that communication, I continually keep that teacher presence going. So let's actually take a look at one of my courses here. So I'll bring up my 8th grade science course from the previous school year. And here you'll see the layout. What I try to do is keep a nice structure so students are not surprised as they go from lesson to lesson. They see the same format and they get used to that, so that way even just having to navigate on the page, that stress is gone and allows them to put more mental energy into actually completing the work. We're going back to communication. You can see the course contact blog here. It gives the phone number for the school. Right underneath of that there's a profile picture, and it includes my extension so students, when they call the school, can get right to my desk. I've also included a message button so that students can click that, which will open up that Moodle Messenger so they can send a direct message to me without having to go through any other means on their home page. The office hours I've set up to, again, encourage that classroom feel, that community feel, that teacher presence. And what I've done is I've tried to click a variety of times, so 9 in the morning when some students are just getting up and working, as well as on Wednesday you can see right around lunchtime where some students may just be getting working then, as well as some of the afternoon times closer to the end of the afternoon. And students also know through looking at my syllabus in the beginning of the school year when I send messages out that I'm also available by appointment. So if none of these times work, say you want to meet at 8 o'clock in the morning or you need to meet at 4 o'clock, we can set that up so that I can meet you when it's convenient. You can click on this office hours link, which opens up my Adobe community room where we can meet virtually. And then you'll see here the virtual class scheduled. So depending on how the class is set up and how many times a week we're meeting, you would see that listed there. So for this example, we just met on Mondays 1 to 1:45. And again, there's the virtual class link. So again, that sets up that teacher presence. It sets up the community using the communication. And if I wanted to speak briefly on feedback, this is a neat feature that I absolutely love, and it's called My Dashboard. And during the school year, these are all grayed out except for the unread messages, which just happens to be yellow right now, I'm not sure why. But throughout the school year, these will be different colors: green, yellow, or red. Green means that you're doing everything within the school-wide policy and procedures, so you're fine. Yellow means you're starting to get to that point where maybe you need to grade a few things and get them out of your queue, or maybe you forgot to post something in your grade book, or you need to add a few more lessons to be posted out. Red obviously means that, okay, now something's wrong. You either haven't been grading for too long, or you haven't posted things in your grade book and it's showing kids wrong grades. These help me to stay on top of my things, because the way I'm structured, I always want to see green. So I make sure that this is green every morning and every afternoon when I leave work. In this, some of these will not change colors. So for ungraded submissions, I can go through and grade something and give a 10 out of 10, but it will stay considered ungraded unless I provide feedback. So once I provide personalized feedback and type in whatever corrections I might see and give a student a 7 out of 10, or just congratulate a student for a job well done and give them a 20 out of 20, then once that text is entered and that grade is attached to it, then it will turn green. So that's those are how I establish myself in teacher presence, and I give that prompt feedback. But I also try to, if I'm working every morning, and consistently throughout the days, I can not only make the prompt feedback, but I can also make it individualized. So I'm not trying to grade 300 assignments in one day. Instead, I can maybe grade 50 to 70 a day and try to be more concise and more direct in who I'm talking to and what I'm saying. Now, if we go back into that course, I'll show you just a little bit of the structure and how I've set my class up so that way students, when they go through, don't have to worry about, oh, what's coming up in this next lesson? I can never understand it. Okay, if we were to come down to some lessons, I like how I kind of ended the year here with this unit. We'll look at the human body. So I marked it as marking period 4. This is chapter 1, section 1, so 1.1, the human body, and it was due May 30th. So the students will see that as a lesson title. When they come in, they'll see, okay, they're in life science. Standard and assessment anchors are listed here. Also, my objectives and essential questions would be listed in this box. I give the final due date, so students could be working ahead of time, or they could be working under the gun. Either way, I include my final due date here. This is due on May 30th, 2014, and it should take the average student 30 to 45 minutes, so I give a range there. So if a student's working 2 hours, they know maybe this is a difficult concept. At some point, they could stop and say, this is taking too long. Let me contact my teacher. Gives them a little bit of awareness. In the directions, I always kind of just step through, this is what you're going to be doing in today's lesson, and I include a study guide. So students that need the reinforcement, right, it's all about that differentiation. And then you can just, I'll look through the lesson format here. You can see I'm very heavy on graphics and audio. There's a iSpring presentation. I give the reading, the key terms, some resources like BrainPop, and also study jams. And at the bottom I say, here's your assignment. Okay, and you can see I had 109 attempts on this one assignment. So this is one lesson. I just want to show you the continuity that I try to keep from one lesson to the next. So if we go into lesson 1.2, you all of a sudden see, wait, that looks very similar. Everything here is laid out similar, and then you hit the lesson, right? So the main format is the same, but now we get to the skeleton dance. It's a little fun. We all remember them bones, them bones. We can take a look at the skeletal system. We have a little video here which was taken from Discovery Education, the difference between compact and spongy. So again, you can see very heavy in this one of images. And then I know that the reading will support what's seen here, so maybe I want them to do more reading in this lesson versus hearing a lecture. All right, and we also see again that I have those additional resources to support differentiated instruction. And this one was set up very similarly, where the students have 2 attempts on the quiz and the highest score is going to be recorded. So you can see the students go through, and each of my lessons has the same basic skeleton. So when they get in there, they can see, no pun intended since we're talking about the skeletal system, the students that way can get in and they don't have to worry about navigating through the actual lesson page itself to try to find, what am I supposed to do? Oh, where did he talk about this? Where is this a resource, or is it something necessary or optional? Students see very straightforward what I expect of them, as well as the flow of the lesson.